I can't define what music means for you, anybody in this room. Music to me, really, music's just really always felt like home.
If I didn't have FM, I'd be graduated by now. I wouldn't be a digital communication arts student, right? I'd still be in pre-med, unhappy. I would be stuck. I wouldn't really know where to go from here.
I sometimes say that the reason I don't go out and work in commercial television, for example, what's the goal of commercial television? It's to sell ads. And here it's about educating. If I'm going to dedicate my life to something, I'd rather it be that, frankly, than, filling a quota.
I remember a lot of the times, I would love to go out and I would love to go see live music with my friends, but I get so freaked out in big crowds sometimes, and I found that the most relaxing thing for me was just kind of chilling out in the back where there's not so many people and just look at the lights and the visuals. And I always thought who is doing that, and who thought to do that?
You're tuned to KBVR Corvallis. This is DJ Mothra, your friendly neighborhood station manager and DJ, playing some just rock and roll, some stuff I've been really enjoying this last year and recently, so hopefully you enjoy it too. Up next, we've got from the new Screaming Females album that released back in February. When I found KBVR through happenstance, essentially, I found just a natural fit with KBVR, and I met Jody at the time. I met Jack Kemp, who was a huge inspiration, who's been there since my beginnings. Music has been a huge part of my life, and now it's become more community driven, both at the station and in my involvement with other communities out in Corvallis, with Corvallis DIY. I wrote a couple of songs for an event called Band in a Hat, which again Corvallis DIY put on. That was when I actually started playing bass, because here's this event, Band in a Hat. They literally pull your name out of a hat and put these groups together of ragtag community members, people who don't necessarily know each other, strangers essentially, and you hang out for 6 or 7 weeks and you write a couple songs and you perform in front of, again, some strangers at a coffee shop.
When I enrolled in college as a freshman, I was going to be a high school history teacher, and I ended up teaching. I was always interested in teaching, and I still kind of ended up in that, sort of. I just now teach music. My job is basically to make sure that the facilities are good to go for students to do their thing. I have a saying sometimes: if good engineers don't fix things, they build things that don't break. And what I try to do here, it's hard because the system is now so complex, but what I try to do is build a system that you all can work without a lot of training, and when there is training needed, I try to make sure that that's available to you guys readily, or I try to be very responsive, and basically so that you all can do your thing. When I was 4 years old, I had my own theme song. The Rolling Stones' Jumping Jack Flash was a huge hit that summer when I was 4. And I just thought it was cool that I had my own song that I was hearing everywhere. I used to say that a radio show is like a canvas, right? I'm going to paint what I paint. You can come along and enjoy it if you want. If not, that's fine. I painted what I painted and I like it. So I always played what I liked to hear. My shows were for me. And if someone else wants to come along and enjoy, great. If they don't, great.
VJs are just so under the radar. No one like knows about them or thinks about them. Super niche industry, I think, and like, so I couldn't stop thinking about it. I couldn't stop wondering about it, and like, what I loved about the visuals is that like, I think that's why I started caring about music so much, is when I started like seeing more live music. I kind of realized that like my entire life, I felt like music was like just like, I'm not good at making it, but I could experience it in a different way, and I always wanted to translate that to other people, and I always felt like the closest thing to that I could do was like visuals for like a live show. Music wasn't like a sound to me, it was like a sound alongside like, not like an emotional feeling, but like a physical feeling. Like different sounds would like feel like a wave rolling over my body, or like, it sounds nuts, but like make my hands tingle or something weird like that. I mean, you just kind of have to like deal with those periods of time when you don't have motivation and accept that you don't want to like make it right now. Actually, a lot of time it's less lack of motivation and more so lack of creativity, and that is actually like really shitty. It's like having like a really bad cold for like a month straight. And the way that I deal with that though is by making like some really stupid stuff, like posted the like "Hi, welcome to Chili's" render, and I made that because I was like, I don't have any creativity in me, like I can't think of anything nice or meaningful, so like you just make like something really fucking stupid to like get you out of it, and then you just start to feel like making stuff again. Yeah, I think like I never would have started visual art had I not gotten like into music. Everyone likes music, but like, I mean, I was like really, like I had like a phase where I was like, music's cool, but then I got like really into music, and that's when I like popped off with this, I guess.
I think if you truly want to like go and get good at something, you'll find a way to do it. In lessons, sometimes people get lessons and then they feel like they've subscribed to something that they owe time to, and I don't feel like I ever owe time to music. I want to give my time to it. If I feel comfortable enough in front of my fan base to be entirely who I am in that moment, there's my brand right there. And it puts a lot on my listeners to be like okay with me being myself from day to day. It's that whole thing. A lot of the times I'm not gonna be the same guy like every week. I'm gonna go through like weird ups and downs. But like that honesty and being able to ask and to not apologize for being human is a lot of what my brand is.
Some people wanna make a million, I'm just trying to make a living. Just trying to make something with everything that I've been given. Wanna hand my mom a check, I just wanna make her proud. Maybe she can say her son finally figured it out. I've been known as the man who can drive you up the wall. That's why I understand why some had to break it off. Don't forget you ever knew me, and I won't forget I knew you. And if you hope I do me, then you hope you do you too. And I say, I hope you find love, if that's what you want, if that's what will make you happy. And all that I've wished for you is opportunity, so you can show your heart. You are whatever you are, whatever you are.
It's very melancholy, and it's very like finding beauty in darker things, because this is the way it goes for me. Like, I can't have positivity without knowing negativity. I can't be out here being like, yeah, life is so, I know it's great, I know it is, but like, it's not always. Like, it's only great because we've known how bad it can get.
Hope I leave it content. Hope I left a good impression on everyone that I've met. Even
As much as I challenged Kaylin, it was because I knew like she could be trusted, again, with my loyalty and my ideas. Like, there are only so many that get to be a part of creating with me. It's not like I'm saying, oh, this is a privilege, but it's a trust thing. Like, I'm trusting you with my intimate ideas here. And like the first time we met up, it was like 3 hours of conversation about our perspective on our approach to our craft. And that's the number one thing that has to be established when collaborating with someone, is if their perspective on the craft is the same, then I can rock with you.
You brought so many ideas. Like, he gave me like a mood board, and I had to work with, okay, how do we get that? I have never been so like, this was such an amazing quality challenge each week that we'd work together to like troubleshoot. How are we gonna get what's next on the agenda?
As much as I love my family and my close friends, they're not doing the things that I'm doing. It takes another person that's creative to really get me, to like understand. You know, they can sympathize, but they can't empathize, and this person right here can empathize.
I've been driving on fumes. For what? For who? Losing credit for food.
KBVR FM has provided this sort of career path, and it does challenge you, and it doesn't, it inspires you to grow, and it pushes you to your limits, and even, nearing the end here, as I pass it on to the next station manager, there are still a lot of challenges that I have to face, and I only have maybe a month left, right? But as I, face the real world, as it were, I feel like this place, with almost 5 years under my belt just at KBVR, whether as a DJ, as a productions director, as a station manager, I feel prepared to at least face the world and try.
And I learn things all the time. I mean, even you guys, you know way more about 4K than I do. Students are, they're bleeding edge. They just don't accept what was cool 2 years ago. That's not good enough. And so sometimes I'm leading and trying to teach and learning. Sometimes I'm just trying to hold off on it, if I'm being honest. It's a matter of, learning and watching and reading and learning and trying and doing.
I have to keep reminding myself is that I'm putting a lot more effort into this than I ever had in school, and I'm actually getting a lot more done than I ever did in school. There's always going to be kind of discouraging people, and the main motivator is kind of staying in that realm of positive artists who are supportive, and they do push me along, and just kind of trying to block out those people who are worried about image and ego and stuff.
I can see myself
music will always be home, and I always have a sense of self from it. And to be grateful for it, to challenge myself from it, all that stuff is all part of the equation of me right now. That's what it means right now. It might mean something totally different in a year or two. But right now, it's home.